What it is, my money geeks. This is the general, the pro money geek general himself, Mr. Mills. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure that you watch the video from the beginning all the way to the end. In this one, it's going to be a review of two commentators. And they're going to be giving input on how to obtain the PPP loan and have it forgivable. The first one is this first video. As you can see, it's a Professor Kez. I have the link down in the description box. So here we go. I started it from a certain point. That date right here has changed, just for you to know. It is now beyond March 9th. It has been extended, but I haven't watched this yet, but I wanted to give you a little commentary between it. So stay with me. I appreciate you being here. Let's go.
To make sure that you get the maximum tax benefit. When you compete in American capitalist economy, what that means is you must understand the rules and figure out how to make those rules play into your benefit. We're going to talk about the forms that you're going to fill out. All right? It's important to know the forms. And the reason why I'm starting with the forms before I talk about the questions on the forms is because there are lenders right now that are issuing, right, the PPP application who received this guidance on the same day that it came out, which is today, March 3rd, 2021. And what you may have to do is educate them about the opportunity that exists, okay? Because they're reading the guidance, they have to inform their staff, and then their staff has to implement the rules. I want you to be able to be confident when you talk about the forms that you need for your business. Now, the SBA has released the forms, and once this live is over, I'm going to link them in my bio. And these forms are from the federal government, and it says that these forms are for Schedule C filers that are seeking a PPP loan, right, which is forgivable. And the form that you're seeking to complete is the SBA form 2483-C, okay? That's for your first draw. Now, let's say you already received one.
Okay, so this is a good tip. You're getting specific form information, because I know I get a lot of questions in the form about first draw information as well as second draw. So these are specific form documents that you want to jot down. So make sure you jot that down. And if you haven't applied for first draw, then that's the roadmap for that one as well as the second draw. All right, here we go.
Forgivable loan, okay? You've expended those resources replacing your income, and you're on your second draw. There's a different form that you're going to request, and I want to make sure that you write this down. That is the SBA form 2483-SD-C. Now, for most lenders that you access, they're taking these forms and they're retrofitting it for their websites, right? But if you encounter the form and there's some questions on that form that speak to lines on your tax documents, and we'll get to that in just a second, that you know shouldn't be there, right? If they ask for line 31 and you know it should be line 7, you want to make sure when you call their customer service, you're asking them, hey, I'm a first draw PPP participant. I need to be completing SBA form 2483-C. I'm a second draw PPP forgivable loan applicant. I should be getting SBA form 2483-SD-C.
Yeah, now that's key. Now what she just said there was perfectly said. So if you're working with a third-party lender and if they send you documentation and requiring tax information on those specific lines that you know is not correct, obviously that's a jewel. Over here at Pro Money Geeks, we call that a gem. All right, so gem is a nugget. All right, so here we go.
Now, I know that this isn't the sexy, okay, if you don't have confidence, you are twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you've won even before you started. But knowing which form you should complete can mean the difference between, right, a customer service representative saying this opportunity is for you or not. Now, time for the 18 questions on the application, okay? Let's talk about what are the 18 questions that they're going to ask you in order to determine your eligibility for up to $20,833 in a forgivable loan that if you use it to replace your compensation, replace your lost wages as a business owner without employees, they will forgive, turning a loan essentially into a grant.
Now, that's the real reason why we're even applying for the PPP. Yes, it's under the umbrella of a loan. However, if you're utilizing the resources the correct way, you're following the guidelines, as the young lady has said, then of course that amount could be forgivable, 20,800 and some odd dollars that she mentioned. So be sure, if you're a business owner, if you're a gig worker, if you're a 1099 worker itself, be sure that you utilize these resources because the funding is about to run out. It's sooner than later now that we are currently in April. So be sure to make sure, be sure to make sure that you actually do your due diligence. Go ahead and apply. You don't know until you apply, and you could fail if you don't try, and that's what I recommend you doing. All right, let's go.
The first thing they're going to ask you is that they're going to ask you if you're a sole proprietor. They're going to ask you if you're an independent contractor. They're going to ask you if you are a self-employed individual. Now, we explained the first two, but there are some people watching this live that say, well, I have a job. Am I still a self-employed individual? And the question is yes. If you are owning and operating a business, the government recognizes your ability to be a W-2 direct deposit employee and also to run your business. Especially for entrepreneurs of color, especially for Black entrepreneurs who will go to work every single day 9 to 5 and come home and build their business from 6 p.m. to midnight, 6 p.m. to 1 a.m., 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. You are a self-employed individual that gets both benefits as a business owner and also potentially benefits as a W-2. All right? So don't let that self-employed individual knock you off the opportunity to get access to these funds. Okay? You can be a W-2, work full-time. You can be a self-employed individual as a sole proprietor, independent contractor, or a single member LLC.
So that's key too. So if you hold down a 9 to 5, you're also building a business. You also may be pouring into your business, especially time and energy, money, things like that. It behooves you to go ahead and apply. Push the fear away. Just go for it. Let them tell you, no, it's not for you. And then you would know, as opposed to you just having it in the back of your mind. All right, enough of my rant. Here we go.
Next, they're going to ask you if you have a DBA or a trade name. All right? DBA stands for doing business as. All right? So you may be a sole proprietor, right? Let's say you fix hair in your garage. When people come and they get their hair done, you've registered with your city or county that it's not Professor Keys braiding your hair, right? Professor Keys ain't getting all up in that kitchen, right? It is Professor Keys Professional Braiding Salon, right? Professor Keys Professional Braiding Salon, say that 10 times fast, is me doing business as, right? So that's your DBA. How do you know if you have a DBA or not? It's because you fill out the paperwork with your city or county and you submitted that paperwork in order to be recognized as an individual doing business. They're also going to ask for your trade name, right? So they're going to say, oh, okay, well, what's your trade name? Your trade name just means the name under which you do business, all right? So don't get thrown off by these fancy terms. If you've never heard trade name before, they're simply asking for your trade name. Next, they're going to ask, in what year were you established? Now, this is an easier answer for those people who are single member limited liability companies, because when you filed your paperwork as an LLC, the state registered on which date you filed. What if you can't remember? I want you to go to your state corporation commission and I want you to type in the name of your business and they will pull up on what date you registered your business. Okay, so the state keeps these files and they make it public. You'll be able to pull up on what date you registered. If you are a sole proprietor, as a sole proprietor, when you think about what day you started doing business, think about when's the first time you made a sale and deposited that money into your account, okay? So think about when is the first time you made a sale, and that is your year of establishment, all right? So that's one question. Next, they're gonna ask, what is your business's legal name, right? So like, what is the legal name that the state may or may not have on file? This goes back to the answer about training, okay? So, like,
All right, so I'm gonna pause the video right there, but she is going through, it sounds like, very detailed information. It's up to 13 questions that she's going to go through. I suggest you go to her video, tune in, watch this one. Obviously, this is the first half of two. So the second half, I'm gonna actually pull up a video where it's another person showing you directly how to fill out the application, more hands-on. So this commentator, she's more of an information provider. The next commentator, just from the video I've seen so far, it looks like it's going to be someone who's more hands-on to point and give you specifics. So for those who need to see more visual application, this would be for you. So once again, I do thank you guys for staying tuned in all the way till now. This is the General, the Pro Money Geek Community. I appreciate you being a part of it. All right, here we go.
With St. Norris Wealth Management, and in this video, we're going to go through PPP Round 2 application step by step for people that are applying for the first time. Let's locate the new PPP loan application. And I would like to mention there are two different applications. One is for people that are applying for the second time and for people applying for PPP for the first time. They are different. One application is 2483 second draw. So it's 2483-SD. We talking about the 2483 application. This is PPP application for people that applying for PPP loan for the first time. It's effective January 8th of 2021. You go to the sba.gov website, click on download your PDF file of the most current application. It is 5 pages long in fillable PDF. It's been revised January 8th, as I said, 2021, and the expiration date is 7/31 of 2021. Let's get to our application and go step by step. Once again, this application for the people that are applying for the first time for PPP loan, not the second draw. Up top, you will see the box that will clarify the type of business you are. So you're sole proprietor, partnership, C, S Corp, or single member LLC, you have to specify this in the section. You have to check only one box. Just one. Say in our example, we're doing a sole proprietor. Next, they will ask you about your DBA or trade name, if applicable. So doing business as. If you don't have any, you don't have to worry about this box. Year of establishment, if applicable. If you don't know the exact date when you started, you can just put a month and a year in this box here. Business legal name. If you have one, put your name in here. If you operate as sole proprietor, just under your personal name, just put your first and last name as appears on your tax return. NAICS code. This is your business code. I will put the link for the code numbers in the description for this video, so you don't have to look for it. After you locate your NAICS code, you have to put your number in an appropriate box. Next, you have to put your business address, street, city, state, and zip code. That could be your address for your office. If you don't have an office, you can put your home address. You cannot put PO boxes in here. They're not allowed. Next, you have to put your EIN or social security number. If you have two separate businesses, you have Schedule C on your 1040 for one business. Say it's food delivery service. And say you're a photographer. You have two different Schedule Cs. You can apply for two different PPP loans because there are two separate businesses.
Yeah, now if you saw that, that's dope. So if you are a serial entrepreneur, such as myself, then you understand the benefit of what she just said. So if you have multiple businesses, one could be a side hustle, one could be you could be a gig worker, you can own a business, and you can be an employee. You have different avenues of establishing a request to apply for the PPP loan. All right, here we go.
Next one, you have to include your business phone number, primary contact. If it's sole proprietor or a single member LLC, you just put your first and last name in here. Also, your business email address. Don't forget about that. Next, you have to calculate your average monthly payroll to determine the amount of your loan. How would you do that? In our example, you're a sole proprietor. You have to go to your 1040, and after that, look for Schedule C. After you locate your Schedule C, you look for line 31. This is your net income. This is income after all your expenses been deducted from your gross income. Say, in our example, our net income on line 31, you can use either 2019 or 2020 tax return, or net income.
Okay, so you heard that. That's either 2019 or 2020 that you can use. So it doesn't disqualify you if you didn't start in 2019, obviously. So it applies to you for 2020 as well, since we're in 2021. That's a nugget.
Income was 60,000. You have to divide it by 12, which will be $5,000. That will be your average monthly payroll. Or if you're sole proprietor, single member LLC, that's your owner compensation replacement amount. That's your 5,000. Then you're gonna multiply it by 2.5, and we get to the amount of $12,500. Pay attention. It says do not include any EIDL advance.
Sorry to pause it so many times, but that's a nugget. So that's showing you how to calculate the amount that you're eligible for. So a lot of people tend in the comment section ask, how do they get the maximum amount? And then after you get the maximum amount, how do you go about getting it forgiven? So the first young lady who we did a reaction video to, go back to that one. Actually, go to her video. I'm sure it sounds like she was going down the path where she's going to give you more information regarding how to do the same thing that this video is saying, but this one is more visual, hands-on, as I alluded to earlier. So here we go.
Amount. So grant, that's what they're talking about if you received one. And then you put your 12,500 in the next box. Next one, they will ask you about number of employees. Our example, sole proprietor or your single member LLC, it's just you don't have any employees. You'll put number 1 in here. Say you're a C corporation and you have 10 employees and then it's you. You put 11. So 10 plus 1, 10 employees plus you, it's 11. Next section will ask you about the purpose of this loan. And you can mark all that apply. But it's very important that you have to check the payroll cost box, because that's the main purpose of the Paycheck Protection Program, is to cover payroll costs. If you're sole proprietor, single member LLC, and you're just covering your owner compensation replacement, or maybe you just don't have any other expenses, checking the payroll cost box is sufficient. Just make sure you've done this. Also, if you have rent, utilities, make sure you check all of them. Also, there are a number of additional eligible expenses that were added to the original list. If you, for example, spend money on plastic sheets, hand sanitizers, masks, any Lysol spray, anything that has to do with sanitizing and keeping your employees safe, you can check this box. This is all eligible expenses. covered operation expenditures, that's your software cost. If you're doing remote work and you have to purchase that type of software to perform that remote work, this is a covered expenditure. Next one, you have to list all owners of 20% or more of the equity. You can put 2 names in here. If you have more owners, you can attach a separate list. Next, very important section is list of questions that basically will make you eligible or not eligible for PPP loan. If you answered any of the questions of 1, 2, 5, or 6 as yes, this loan is not going to be approved. When you read them, please read them carefully. Page 2 has a...
So this is the reason why I like this video, is because it's specifically walking you through how to fill it out. I'm not going to watch the entire video, but as you could tell, what we're going to do, I'm going to have the link to this video as well in the description box. So if this is beneficial to you, feel free to check it out. It is Katie St. Oris, CFP, comma, ChFC, comma, EA. All right, so like I said, it'll be down in the description box. I appreciate you guys for tuning in through this entire reaction video. I am the Pro Money Geek General himself, Mr. Mills, and I'm here because I need you to succeed in order for me to succeed. When we all can be entrepreneurs, I'm building a community. I appreciate all of you guys who are a part of the Pro Money Geek community. I thank you. Once again, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification button, like, and come back, hit that so we can get the algorithm popping for all of the community. Thank y'all. We out.